Hello and welcome to another brain project. Behind the scenes, we got 10.3. 10.3 is not going to be a reaction video, finally. And we are talking about, for this speech, getting it. My ball. Getting it. Not the clown. Not the clown. So, let's do our classic framework and work it all out from here. I'll pause it as I put all the sections on the board. Alright, we got that right there. And with this, I've been actually writing quite a bit. No time stamping, but it's been a while since the last one and this one. So let's, I think I borderline kind of finished the general approach of how I want to do it. So I just really want to write that ahead. That's funny. Okay, so according to my last place, I have, starting with the speech framework. Okay, let's just do this. Definition of getting in, alright? Use a different marker. Essentially, the definition, if people were to really try to define getting it, it is being too aware. Right? But to my main message, and especially my interpretation, the main message that I want to convey is that the main message is what getting it means. Real simple. And also it's kind of changed because I just added one. It's because I'm doing this because I just want to like figure out what's working, what doesn't. My interpretation is going to be four rules, steps, whatever it is. 4 steps. Real simple. 1 second. Alright, let's keep going. We have 4 steps. Alright. And the icebreaker is going to be, I mean, basically I'm just going to explain all 4 steps. I'll move the camera just right here a little bit. Right there. So this is actually going to be pretty simple. It's just going to be 4 steps. Icebreaker and why this is going to be, let's just combine them into 1, 3, 2, and 4. So I actually wrote quite a bit down. The beginning is going to be, well, we'll get to the beginning in a second. The emphasis on this one is going to be timing. And speaking of timing, let's say 30 minutes. Especially with my words. Last speech, I had kind of like 45 minutes. I was guessing for how long the speech would be, and then it ended up being 30 because I just rushed through the whole thing. So, first thing, let me grab my book right over here. I need to rephrase it in a good way, but it's nothing you do matters. The idea that quite possibly anything that you ever do happens on this earth. It could all be for vain, and you have to be okay with that and still do what you want. You never know when you're gonna die, so why not live? Starting with the fear of brain aneurysms, fear I've had. Brain aneurysm research, I'm gonna do some stuff on that. That were just a tiny blip in the entirety of existence. Everything you do is for nothing. Maybe I'll change, again, I might change the wording. And with that, still doing what you want. Finally, ending with that getting it is not a stepping stone of understanding, but rather a shift into a new way of thinking. Right? Two, we have you know nothing. Alright? This is, I'm going to start it with getting versus understanding. I say getting it, we're going to look up the definitions of getting versus understanding, so it's why you get it. You don't need to understand it to get it, but you need to understand that you know nothing to get it. See, it's a little confusing. Well, it makes sense. 1 second. Alright, keep going along with it. We'll have, you'll need to understand versus getting. Then I want to go into tennis. I play tennis. I'm 22. There's another 22-year-old who plays tennis. He's the #1 tennis player in the world, right? Using more examples like this, either with me or with, again, that, the next quote I'm going to use from this is that everyone has someone who has done something better than them, right? Everyone has someone who has done something better than them. Then going into E, the self-awareness, right? And the mixture that you have to be aware that you can't be too aware, right? We don't know or don't consciously think about all the atrocities in the world. If you were, and if you really were aware of all of it, all the good, all the bad, I think it does too much to your brain. And I finally end that getting it doesn't lead to an easy life. Then we have number 3, which I want to, 1 second. Alright, we have number 3, which is the, I'm still recording, good, awareness of oh god, I can never spell convenience right. Convenience. Awareness of convenience. We'll start out with saying how I live a very convenient life. Mentioning the last speech, the question, right? That came from selflessness. Can selfless actions exist without selfish intentions? I'll look up statistics on like the average, like, I don't know, like average of people's lives, right? What like the income people get, what that average is, or where like the middle ground is from the less than 1% to the other version of 1%. Finally, mention I'm not trying to bash anyone. I'm just making sure that the awareness of convenience is necessary, right? It's ending it by saying that getting it is a paradigm, right? It's we mentioned before, a shift into a new way of thinking. Possibly having a PTP with either it's a paradigm or something else. change my marker because I've been using that one for a while. Last one, and this one I'll actually need to pause the because this one just came up recently actually. I had these three pretty solid. Okay, yes, I was thinking about getting it and talking about it with some friends, and there's a couple things I wanted to add. The mix with Nothing You Do Matters, there's a nuance to it. I wrote an alternate one about, let's see if it still works, the myth of legacy. All right. Uh, like it's not to say like nothing you do matters because you have the butterfly effect. All right. Take an example where someone might want to end their life and you save their life, right? That then cascades into a butterfly effect of which all the rest of the stuff they do later in life that affects other people, that affects other people. It changed their lives because of that, because you did this to their life. And subsequently, you did that and then you affect other people. So, let's see. You never know when you're going to die, so why not live? That's true. Brain aneurysms can still work with the myth of legacy. Brain aneurysm research, where a tiny blip in the universe still works with the myth of legacy. Not everything you do is for nothing. How about instead of saying everything you do is for nothing, how about legacy is a myth, right? And you could die. How about that one right there? So instead of everything you do is for nothing, we're gonna change. I'll put it in the secret sauce right here. The changes I'm putting. So for 1D, I'm going to change to so why not live? I know I have it on my notebook, which is already like near final step of me speaking. This is like one of the first steps, but I already kind of got past it. Change to so why not live? You never know when you're gonna die, so why not live? And with that, still like doing what you want. Yeah. And how finally ending it with getting it is not a stepping stone of understanding, but rather a shift into a new way of thinking. It doesn't lead to an easy life, and then there is what's the last one? It's a paradigm. I'm thinking of adding like a third. I don't know what he's doing. Being a nuisance is what he's doing. So we'll change this to the myth of legacy. Really, and I feel like I want to add some stuff. I want to change E into what I'm talking about. So it's a mixture of you never know when you're gonna die, so why not live? And then also the fear that death comes, but also what we do in our lives, and specifically the things we do to try to leave a legacy, right? If you want to enjoy all the things that you're doing in your life, and you hope that the things you're doing in your life is going to like be there for others, and you'll make all this money, and you'll be so important, you'll be number one, right? Did I write anti-American? No, I didn't. Okay. There's a lot of things I didn't add in this. Is it? I didn't put anti-American, the other stuff too. Okay, so the myth of legacy. So I guess we'll add. Let's see, where would I add the very anti-American? point of view that you're a tiny blip in the universe. Yeah, I guess we should add that. Okay, so 1C add anti USA POV. And then for E, 1E, God, it's so hard to write down there. Because it's kind of just redundant to saying, so why not live and then still doing what you want. So I was talking about legacy, right? Hello? Legacy? Spelled it with an E. It's legacy. Ugh. Okay, there's a lot of things that I'm glad I'm doing this. As I'm looking at it, I kind of want to change more and more. God, that handwriting's. My dad told me to never get an office job, right, when I was young. And I never really understood until later in life when I see people my age or grown adults who have office jobs. And this idea of like working to work is your life, to working, to working, to working, to more money, to more money, to more money, so you can leave a legacy. It's hard because, okay, the myth of legacy is more the myth of that you're going to live on forever, right? That's the anti-American point of view. Now I'm not trying to say you shouldn't still do the things that you want to do, or even do the things you have to do, but forcing yourself to do things that you have to do is hard. You never know when you're gonna die. Okay, let's start over. Here we go. So, myth of legacy. Starting out with the fear of brain aneurysms. Okay, so you know what I'm doing? I'm mixing two different concepts and I'm intertwining them, but very horribly. So let's just do this over. We'll start with we're a tiny blip, right? We're a tiny blip in the universe. And this is a very anti-American way of thinking, right? And then from there, we'll go into legacy and how legacy is the idea or the myth of legacy is a trap, right? The myth of legacy is a trap. And then from there, should we go to the death thing and then combine it? Let's see how that sounds. Okay, starting with how we're a tiny blip in the universe, right? The truth is, you know, I'll do the research there, the Earth has been at least here for like hundreds of thousands of millions of years, at least. And within it, you're here for like 100 max. Most likely not even that, right? We're just a tiny little blip in the universe. And of course we don't like thinking about this way because we always think that we're number one. It's a very anti American point of view that you can be the best at these things, you can get the most money, it's all possible to reach it to the top, right? But the truth is, you never know when you're gonna die, right? Yeah. You never know when you're gonna die. Um, I had a fear of brain aneurysms. Brain aneurysms, do the research, show brain aneurysms right there. Um, and yeah, it's possible. You never know when you're gonna go. You never know when you're gonna die, so why not live? SWNL, right there. And this idea of leaving a legacy, of being that number one. Um, it's a trap. How about it's a trap and then ending it on so why not live? So I'll pull, let's see, I'll pull the myth of legacy, no, I'll do tiny blip, myth of legacy is a trap, then brain aneurysms. No, I like the intertwining thing. Okay, get ready for this, So, I don't even know how I could possibly write this on the board, but, because I need space for number 4 too. Well, there's space over here now, I guess, in case I need it. So 1 is going to go. Good, nice music. 1 is going to go 1A. Will be that we are a tiny blip. Hey Google, volume 30%. Okay, tiny blip. We are a tiny blip on the universe. Should I start with just legacy and what legacy means? So start with just like the idea that we want to live forever. Yeah, we want to have a legacy that lives after us. But in reality, we are a tiny blip. So as I start with anti-American and then tiny blip, we can do that. Tiny blip, and more than that, it's a trap, right? Well, we're just a tiny blip. No, because then I say it's a trap. So because the trap, and I gotta do some more thinking of how I want to approach that. It's a trap, but the reality is, okay, the song is Hey Google, pause. Okay, I'm trying to think of how I want to approach this. You have tiny blip, which means you're a tiny blip in the world. Of these thousands of years, you live at most like 100. You have the myth of legacy as a trap. I'm gonna start with the myth of legacy, like title. And what do I want to first discover? The anti-American legacy is a trap, or tiny blip. Let's just say anti-American. Let's start with that and see how it works. Anti-American. So I would talk about how we do have a tiny blip, and then it's a very anti-American. So it has to be tiny blip first, then anti-American. All right. Well, how about fear of brain aneurysms first, then tiny blip? Because if I go into fear of brain aneurysms, and brain aneurysms themselves, uh, the research, then I could talk about how, yeah, we all exist. This could happen in any case for any of us. Uh, the myth of legacy is that we will live on forever, uh, or is that any of us could die at any point. And the myth of legacy is a trap. You never know when you're gonna die, so why not live? Okay, okay. I got this, I got this. So we're gonna start with brain aneurysms, and brain aneurysm research, in parentheses, R. 1B is going to be how we are a tiny blip. You're still going? Okay. How we are a tiny blip. In the universe. 1C would be, is either anti-American or the myth of legacy. Because the anti-American point of view is that we live forever. I guess that would be after the myth of legacy. Is a trap. Yeah, we're a tiny blip in the universe. I might take out anti-American point of view. We'll say myth of legacy. Myth of legacy trap. One D would be, because the ending is going to be, so why not live? And then I'm going to make a new quote, so get ready for that. Because the paradigm fits so well with the shift into a new way of thinking. I'm going to put that on 3. So, let's see. I have left, well, so why not live is like still doing what you want. Those are combined. The myth of legacy trap is really good. And then I guess I could just end it with, so why not live? I don't need to have a little Captain Crunch right here trying to schmooze it up. I can have. Well, how about this? I'll do anti-USA POV after the legacy trap. And if I take it out, I take it out. Right there, and then 1D, 1E would be, so why not live? And then the quote, 1F, new quote that relates more, so why not live? Because here's the thing, I'm gonna add like 3 quotes, and then I'm gonna put at the end. Well, now 4, because we haven't even gotten to 4. 10.3, we're getting there. This is how I want to do 1 now. The myth of legacy. I'm glad I wrote that down. We're gonna keep going. I'm gonna erase the left side because there's some stuff that I already want to add, plus 4. But before I even get to 4, I'm gonna make sure to right here change 1 quote to 3 quote. So, hey Google, play jazz. Now it's too quiet. Perspective is not a shift. It's not a stepping stone into understanding, but rather a shift into a new way of thinking. And that would work really well with the paradigm. Possibly having a PTP of giant pairs of dimes. I think that would be kind of fun. Or like like pairs of dimes, PTP and the physical gift. What I usually do every time is give people a gift, at least something physical to remember it by. Here we go. Now we're on to number 4, which I just recently added. And that is forgetting it, not wanting to settle. Not wanting to settle. I think this is a very integral part of getting it, because in the getting it, the myth of how we'll live on forever, right? You never know when you're even gonna die, but you think you're gonna live on forever, right? The fact that you know nothing, everyone knows something more. Everyone everyone has someone who has done or knows something more than you, right? The awareness of convenience, how your life is so much more convenient than other people's lives who struggle to walk, who struggle to eat, all these things. And finally, and really those threes almost kind of pale in comparison to not wanting to settle. The idea of settling is um, is socially put on to a lot of people, right? I am not a woman, but I can make a very rational guess that the majority of women. One second. You probably couldn't even hear me the whole time. That's fine. The majority of women get pressured into marriage, all right, by their family, by their friends, whoever, by society, right? The idea that everybody needs to get pushed into a job. You need to have something that you work at for like 30, 40 years, 50 years so you can get a nice retirement fund when you're older, right? This idea of settling underneath your passions for the reality. That I think that's a good start of what I want to really talk about. Um, let's see. That was weird. Nothing actually dropped. Okay, right here. I'll just use black. No, I'm gonna use blue. The I think settling, not wanting to settle, really goes into a bigger aspect, and that's fear. The fear that you're never going to go into like what you want to go into. So we'll start with passions versus, this would be 4A. Passions versus reality. Social expectations. I don't know if this will be in this order, but social expectations and examples of needing to settle. Examples, of course. 4C would be talking about the warnings at the beginning. It's possible this could just be the ending and I'm wrapping everything up within it. The warnings. There is no previous definitions, research, or speeches on getting it. I truly don't know if those who don't get it can get it. To some extent, getting it is kind of out of our control, right? It's subjective. It could be that I don't get it myself. I do, but it could be, right? I think those are the warnings we'll save at the end. But for this one right here, for not wanting to settle, I know it's gonna end on fear, but if is there anything else I should say with not wanting to settle? I think there's a nuance of um, the three things that are inevitable in life, right? Work, uh, like struggle, and death, right? Like those three things are inevitable, but there is a nuance in how you approach those things, a nuance in how you approach work, really. Um, Everybody's life situation is different, and yeah, nuance of approaching work. I mean, it's more like work-life balance or work-passion balance. Work-passion balance. Work slash, oh, hello. Because it's like work-life balance, but if your life is your passion and doing what you want, yeah, look, everybody's got their own very unique situation. I have been, sometimes currently am in those situations where I have to focus on work for prolonged amounts of time, right? I can't do anything else but that. Uh, but it also isn't always the case like that. I've never had to work 24 hours every single day for years and years and years and years. And who knows? Maybe some people do. I want to make a reasonable guess. That that's not true, right? If you have your passions, there you always have some time, right? It's a very controversial thing to say that because yeah, some people have to work 2 or 3 jobs. I did work like 3 jobs at once, um, just to like make ends meet. Um, but there was still time. Maybe I shouldn't say it because it's not that it isn't true. It's just that it's hard for people to hear. But there's always time. We'll just go with the nuance of work passion balance, and we'll go with 4D, what it really is. Fear. Like that's what the not wanting to settle aspect comes from, and really what getting it kind of leads to. You have that you the fear. Again, it could be the awareness that you have the fear, but you aren't settling, right? You aren't just sitting here saying this is where I'll be the rest of my life. This will be the same paycheck I get the rest of my life. I'm never gonna chase my passions, my dreams, right? That's not getting it. So I do need a quote for 1, and I do need a quote for 4. Um, Let me write that down. Find quote for 1 and 4. Right there. Quote for 1 and 4. For the beginning, and this is the ending, right? Still sticking into the paradigm, right? Because that's, well, it's not the ending anymore. Oh, gonna use all 4 quotes, right? So this will be all 4 quotes. whatever that last one is. And this is not even really, it's a paradigm. The phrase that pays will have to be something new within it. When I finish it, I feel like I'll get it. Like getting it. Like you have to get it to get it. That's stupid. I was just saying the same thing twice. I don't really know what the PTP is. A phrase that pays, but getting it. I don't know yet. I also don't know what this would be yet. I'm figuring out what do I have on here. Alternative definition, something like that. We changed that, I'm pretty sure, right, to example / mini activity of getting it. We could do like a little fun activity, like raise your hand if you know what I mean by getting it, right? We could do raise of hands. And like I want to hear their interpretation. Because I'm going to give my interpretation of what getting it means. The warnings recap, so we'll do the 4 quotes, the warnings recap, and then we'll end it on a quote. Let me also get that quote out here. I didn't write it down, but I did write the source of it. Right here. Let's see. Savine Solanki quote on getting it. Everything, yeah, here we go. What? It was right there. Everything is valuable only at 2 times. Before getting it and after losing it. There was a little bit more to it. I don't know why it's just giving me half the quote. Hello? Okay, sure. Everything is valuable at 2 times. Before getting it and after losing it. And it's like everything else in between is something. But I don't know. I don't know if losing it is a possibility. But hopefully you never need to lose it, because through the speech I will help everybody get it. Right? Of course the beginning of this life is to get it and hopefully not lose it. So we'll add that. Not to lose it. So Savine Solanki quote, you are just being a little nuisance right now. A little nuisance. I want everybody to leave with getting it. You might lose it, that's okay. But right now, hopefully this speech I have helped everybody here get it. We'll do the warnings recap. And then add stuff to the warnings recap. Here. Okay, and that's really, I mean, again, the quotes for 1 and 4, I gotta do. So let's see. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I still am not finished with, and it's good because I finished it really early. I was kind of nervous it wasn't, but by going through this, I want to mark with big stars the stuff that I still need to do. Let's do it in bright blue. Right there. Right there. You know, we'll just color that bad boy in. There we go. Myth of Legacy. This I need to add in there. All of this stuff. Right? Like all the way down here, I need to add to it. This stuff I need to add to it. The brain aneurysm research I need to do. Let's see. The Myth of Legacy track. Really just this whole section I need to also do. Looking at 4 again. I need to do some more. I need to do a lot of research on a lot. All research. How about that? So I'm gonna get started with that. That might be the next lessons. More so on the computer, just me looking up and writing down what stuff would be good, but that should be all. You wanna come here after being such a little nuisance? Yeah, gotcha. Gotcha. Alright, why don't you stare into the camera and tell everybody that you're such a nuisance. And also getting it's cool. It's cool, man. Alright. Give him a little snack right here. Right. Hey, sit. Hey, sit. Hey. Well, he didn't sit down that time, which is annoying. But yeah, I think this is it's a good start. I just want to see how this I want to again make sure it flows, the eloquence and delivery, but also timing. I want to get that timing just right.